Hey guys, so...
Hi! I guess we're starting?
So I've been waiting to do this live stream for a while, actually. I've been thinking, like, it would be fun to interview people, and I was always thinking, like, of course I'd interview Jonathan.
Yeah, you
like,
almost had
first.
the viola kid in here, though, right?
Well,
sort of here.
kind of. I had him, like, on Skype.
Yeah. But I'm actually here.
Yeah, you're actually... Are you
as far as you know.
I guess you're actually here.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we are live streaming again on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, wait, so I should turn this down.
And I put this sideways. Sorry if you hate it. You can just turn your phone if you want. I asked you guys for some questions earlier, and we have some awesome things to answer. So if you are not familiar with Jonathan Tsay already, he is my pianist that I've been playing with. We've been playing together
for a year? We've been playing together for almost a year now. It's great.
It feels like it's been forever.
Well,
is that a good thing or a bad
so
thing?
if you want to start from the first time we ever played together, that would be Durango 2010? 11? 11, because I think you were there the second year I was there. And I had to throw together the last movement of Beethoven concerto.
For me.
Yeah. In about 24 hours, 48 hours or something like this.
That concert was crazy. But
it was.
We've played together, like, I think a few times, but we just didn't play recitals and, like, whole programs together.
Yeah, until last
June.
Yeah, it's been almost a year now. Happy anniversary.
Hooray.
Yeah, that was a last-minute cancellation, too, for a series down in Hill Country, Blanco, Texas.
Blanco Performing Arts.
That's right. And they asked me to find a violinist, because the violinist that was scheduled had been injured.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that you would play with me, because I had been there.
Oh, yeah, because they weren't actually asking
They weren't asking me to play. Because I had just played.
Yeah.
So I played
one concert. They were just
concert.
asking for advice, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can do it, and I'll play with Jonathan.
Right. So, yep.
So that's how that happened.
Yeah. I was down there twice in 6 weeks. Yeah. It's pretty fun, and I enjoyed the check.
Texas
in the music making, of course.
Texas has mountains.
It does. Or hills, anyway.
They're mountains.
Yeah.
They're mountains to me.
Whenever you go around to the Palo Duro Canyon, you have a little bit of stuff that goes up and down, too.
Where?
As opposed to Palo Duro Canyon, just north of Amarillo.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's always dark. We're always driving back.
That's true.
From, like, Colorado or wherever.
All right, so the question that I wanted to ask, besides all the other people who were asking stuff, my question, because you've answered this for me before, and for some reason I keep forgetting, what is the meaning behind your username, Psychokaz?
This is a very long story with roots in junior high school.
Okay, please make it short.
Okay. I was in 9th grade, and I was playing football for my 1 year. And the one time I actually broke open a play and was able to run, for a little bit, I could not see out of the sides of my helmet, because, you have a helmet, you have, like, blinders on. And I could have run one side or the other and probably scored a touchdown, but I ran right in the middle and got myself sandwiched in between two guys that were running at me from equidistant parts of the field. And did not score that touchdown, but people were like, man, you was running like some sort of crazy kamikaze or something, and or psycho kamikaze, because that's what it was. And then so I was like, oh, that sounds like something that would fit into a AOL Instant Messenger screen name. So that's how Psychokaz came to be, because McCoy25723, which is my very first screen name, did not have such a ring to it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's funny. For some reason, I don't remember this story.
That I was playing football, or that I...
just like anything. I don't know.
You don't remember much things. It's too much music, too many notes. Too many notes in the
I remember plenty. I don't remember that. Maybe you didn't tell me. I don't know. Because I feel like I would have remembered that.
Or maybe you were thinking about asking me and didn't quite until now. But that's the story.
it was your AOL Instant Messenger name?
Yes. It's my second one, because I wanted one without so many numbers.
I mean, technically my username for YouTube, like the first one is Unicorn Stars, which was my AOL email.
She still uses that
from
email.
From when I was 11, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just kept using it for things because it was easy.
Right.
But then I was mad because then it was my YouTube username, and then I started getting a ton of followers on YouTube, and I was like, wait, this is stupid. And then they said oh, well, you can get a vanity, you can change your username, a vanity username. So if you put in youtube.com/Chloe Trevor, you will get my account, but I think it changes it to Unicorn Stars in
awesome.
the URL. But yeah, so
you were the one that took Unicorn Stars.
Yeah,
I wanted it.
Sorry, but yeah, a lesson to all you guys, teenagers out there. Don't
Look both sides out of the helmet.
Don't pick stupid usernames and make them official things because they will stick with you for the rest of your life. I'm not saying Unicorn Stars. I still feel like that's personal to me, but it's weird as a professional thing for me now. People are like, what is that? So think very carefully about what usernames you pick.
Psychokaz is still a good one. I've kept that for as many years since I've been in 9th grade.
Okay.
It's been 20 years since I've been in 9th grade.
You're dating yourself.
I have been dating myself for a while.
I always feel that phrase sounds so weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna...
Anyway.
I have the Konami code on my shirt, by the way. Backwards.
Sweet.
Speaking of stuff from elementary school.
So that was my question for you.
Well, thank you. Now I have answered it.
Awesome, thanks.
Not awkward at all.
I will go now to the questions that my Instagram fans have decided to ask both of us.
Sweet.
Or just you.
Okay.
Because they
or
make
you.
better than me. So the first question I have here from Sammy Lederman is, how much do you and your pianist agree and disagree? I don't think we disagree at all, really.
We disagree a lot. I disagree with your agree.
No, we don't.
Yeah, okay, so this is how it goes. One of us will say something. Well, maybe I'll say something, Chloe will disagree, and I'll be like, okay, fine. Or wait a second, or Chloe will say something, and I'll say, maybe that, and Chloe will say, no, this. Okay, fine.
So you're just saying that I always win?
Basically.
Oh.
Rule number 1 for keeping
I don't think that's true.
No, actually, it's okay. So that's it in a nutshell. But Chloe is flexible on certain things. It's just artistically speaking. What do you think of this? I think that. Oh, okay. But if you
are you saying I'm difficult to work with?
You're not difficult to work with. You have strong opinions.
Okay.
And so when you're asking me, you kind of want a reinforcement of doubts, or yeah. Yeah.
The truth comes out.
Well, I mean, it's good because if you feel strongly about it, you're ready to defend it. And then I say, okay. So the disagreements last about...
So do you not have any strong opinions?
No. It's rule number 1 for being a collaborative.
So that's just why I always win.
You have stronger opinions. I mean, if I actually really have a strong opinion, I will fight for a while.
I mean, I feel like I try to... be accommodating to make sure that if you need some.
Yeah, no, there's never. It's never to the point where I'm uncomfortable. Right? Well, my job is okay. Look, I love what I do, especially playing with you, because I get to be on stage, but I'm not the thing on stage. It's amazing. I get to sit behind what's on stage.
All right. I feel like this goes really easily into one of our next questions.
All right.
Which our next question? Did we answer that last question?
How do we meet each other?
No. Did we answer the do we disagree and agree thing? Yes.
We disagree, but they last pretty short. The disagreements so far.
So the question I was referring to was from Hey Yen, and she says, Have you guys ever done a violin-piano duet, or has it always been violin solo thing with piano accompaniment?
As a collaborative pianist, I find this question very offensive. We are not merely warm beings to sit behind the piano and blink away on this machine called the piano. We are there to create art. Art, which is actually, we have more notes than this so-called solo violinist. So it's not really just I'm accompanying. Actually, it probably is.
Wow, I don't know who you are anymore. No, actually, how do you feel about the term accompanist versus collaborative pianist? I feel like we discussed it a little bit in the past.
I will say this as a...
Are you trying to be politically correct?
Yes. Trying to stay away from a certain number of letters. No, as an accompanist, which has a lot of letters.
Collaborative pianist has a lot of letters.
A collaborative pianist, it's a redressing of something. I know people like to use that term to illustrate and emphasize the importance that we play in a performance, but you know, it's like kind of saying somebody's a fiddle player versus a violin player. Some people get really offended when they say fiddle, but like people who play really well say, I have a fiddle.
I guess, and he's referring to fiddle as in there are actually people that call classical violinists fiddle players and aren't referring to actual fiddle music.
Right.
One of them actually being my dad, who is a classical music conductor. So it's just different people word things differently.
Yeah.
We weren't trying to say that there isn't a difference between fiddle music and classical music, because there is. The instrument is still the same, though. Right.
And not to dive too far into it, there is a cultural phenomenon of trying to rename things as we go along, just to keep you in the secret brotherhood. So people were like, oh, accompanist, because you're somebody who accompanies somebody, just goes along with them to play. Collaborative pianist, same thing, just more syllables, and that means that you're aware of the sensitivity that some of us people who sit behind the keyboard, behind other people have.
But besides the collaborative piano versus accompanist issue, I mean, I don't think we've ever really thought of our collaboration as solo violin with piano accompaniment.
Not really.
Many of the pieces are equal. It's just that I tend to stand closer to the audience than he does.
She has better dresses too. I wear the same suit basically everywhere.
Yeah, I actually got a comment once, I think it was on a YouTube video, or maybe it was on Instagram, I remember. Somebody got really angry that I was blocking you from, like, the view of the audience.
Right.
And, I mean, I think you were visible to many people in the audience. It was just where the camera happened to be. But I was, like, wanting to say your answer to that.
I don't really, I like being on stage. I like contributing. I don't like to be the thing on stage. So actually hiding behind Chloe is great. If Chloe's violin's up and you see two other arms sticking out from Chloe's chest, like some sort of thing, like playing the piano.
Yeah.
Chloe's 2/3 of the way to being Shiva, or 1/2 of the way. Anyway.
But we should play some Beethoven, right? Because Beethoven wrote, or was it Mozart as well? Or was it both of them, I think?
Wrote
sonatas for piano. With violin. And violin. Like, is how they actually titled it, right?
Yeah. But that means I have to practice more.
You don't want to play any Beethoven with me?
I do want to play. Well, we're going to play some Beethoven together.
I meant one of the sonatas.
Oh. In July 9th, if you're in the Dallas area. Basically Beethoven Festival. And in June, if you're in the Columbia, Missouri. Not the other one.
Not the one with 2 O's.
Columbia.
No, Colombia.
Colombia.
Because it's Columbia with a U in Missouri.
Yeah. And not the movie company either. Columbia Pictures.
Yeah. All right, so did we answer the question about how we met each other from Anton Rizky?
Yeah, Music in the Mountains 2010 or 2011. But I think
the first time we played together wasn't when we met. It was just...
Was it the year after?
That was the year... I think we played the year after. Wasn't your first year 2010?
Yeah. I remember it vividly.
When we met?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Okay. Music in the Mountains, we were next to the band hall. And there was a redheaded girl with a yellow shirt sitting at the desk. This big round table. It was like in elementary school. And sat down, and I heard a very deep voice say, "Hi, I'm Chloe." And I said, "Oh, hi, I'm Jonathan." And so we started talking. You know, she's a violinist. She was on a junior faculty there. Or the faculty, actually. and was playing in the orchestra. And so we talked for a little bit.
Why did you say my voice was really low?
You have a low voice. It's nice. It's not like...
You're like pointing it out, like, and then a really low voice said to me, hi. You remember what color my shirt was?
Yes. Because it was yellow and you had red hair.
Okay. Like I don't remember what shirt this is. I'm like intrigued now.
Yeah.
I don't have many yellow shirts.
You did have a yellow shirt on though.
Okay.
It might have had a logo on it or something. Sometimes these things stick out in your head. We'll just put it that way.
Alrighty. Well, let's see. Should we take a question from Facebook? Do you want to look for something?
Okay. From Ryu Daiga, it says, Chloe is a winner.
Yes.
Okay.
I win.
Excellent. Just give me little instructions like how to hold your wrist straight and things like that. We will address that later on. And I have
James is just asking for more videos, more of my tutorial videos, which I do plan to keep making. I'm really upset, honestly, that I have so many masterclass videos that I've recorded over the years, and the quality just isn't great because either the lighting was horrendous or the video camera was too far away. And so, like, the ones I've been trying to put on Instagram lately, I'm really upset because they look really, like, dark or grainy or blurry or something. I'm just like, oh, there's so much good information here.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's
terrible.
But how's the information?
It's good, but, like, people are so visually, like, you know, oriented these days. That it's just...
My eyes are closed for most of a masterclass anyway. Whether I'm teaching or taking it, it's nap time.
Right.
But I'm absorbing.
You sleep when you teach a masterclass?
I do the Leon Fleischer type of support. The composer. I do that.
All right. Let's take another question from Instagram. Okay. From Anthony Violin. Can you tell us the story of your first solo performance with orchestra? Now, he, I think, specifically wanted me to answer this, but I decided that I wanted you to answer this.
Oh, it's great. Okay, so I was 16 years old, and I had won the concerto competition for my local youth orchestra, Fort Worth represented, and I got to play the third and fourth movements of Shostakovich's first piano concerto, which is with strings and trumpet. That's the first concerto.
One with the head thing?
Yes, that.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, that's the one with the head thing. I have another story about that, by the way.
Go watch his first ever YouTube video. Just look up youtube.com/Psychokaz.
Or just say piano head bliss.
Yeah, you can look up that too.
That shows
it's
up
amazing.
Too.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. But that was several years after. But Shostakovich's first piano concerto, and I will remember it because I've never been that nervous in my entire life. Like sitting there just waiting for the.
I guess that's your first time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just nervous, right? Just heart and throat just coming, that way. And after I was done, my mother, who's always very supportive.
How did the performance go?
Well, I'm about to get to that.
Okay. Well, that's how you thought it went.
My mother came. I mean, it just went right. You're a teenager. You don't ever. You sit down and you just go ah, and then and the performance is over.
And then it's over, and you're like, yes.
Oh, we're coming back.
How are the comments still coming up?
I don't know. It's back.
Okay. Well.
So
sorry, guys. Now. It somehow I don't know if our Wi-Fi went out or something, but got interrupted in the middle of the best part of your story.
Oh yeah. So. Okay. After my first performance with orchestra, my mother, who is always been very supportive and always challenges me to get to greater heights, she came up to me and gave me a hug and said, "Wow, Jonathan, you missed a lot of notes." And that's how that went. And that's my very first performance with orchestra.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Checking here to make sure that it actually
Is it back?
Saved.
Oh.
I'm gonna be really mad.
Anyway, what about your first? Were you 3?
With orchestra?
Yes.
I mean, that's hard to answer because I think I played a bunch of things with orchestra before the age of 10. Mm-hmm. Things with Mr. Foman, my teacher. Yep. But if you're talking about I don't know, are you talking about first professional?
Well, I mean, youth orchestra is not professional. I mean, to me, it felt like the biggest thing in the world, but it's not professional. Just the first time oh, that's a great freeze frame.
Well, I don't know if I remember much of the ones when I was younger. So the first one that I really remember, I think I was 11. Either 10 or 11. I don't remember which exactly, but I was playing Preludium and Allegro.
There's an orchestra version?
Either there's an orchestra version or someone made one for this concert. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But I played Preludium and Allegro with the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra.
Awesome.
With my dad conducting for like 4 youth concerts. And back then they did the concerts in this like huge like convention center. It was like just this giant barn. Like I think it seated like 4,000 people in there. I mean, it looked like, I say it was like a giant barn because it was just like a box. And
more
like
an airplane hangar.
You'd look into it and it was just like black, except you heard all of these like kids screaming at you. And I was like, what the heck? But what I remember like the most about this concert was that they had this amazing, innovative idea back for whatever year this was, in the 90s, like that they had a video camera on me and then were displaying me on a gigantic screen like above the orchestra behind me. Like I think the screen was bigger than that wall.
Oh, I was gonna say the picture can you go?
No, it was like gigantic. And I just remember being like,
do you find yourself leaning toward a picture of yourself on video if you find yourself projected?
What do you mean?
Like, when
I couldn't see it.
Okay.
You mean like if it's like there and you're like leaning towards it?
My first 2 years doing outreach concerts with the Clyburn, they always project your hands on the screen. And I always lean towards the thing. It was like a weird...
So. The most recent thing I've done like that was when I played in Jefferson City, Missouri, and I played Tchaikovsky Concerto, and they displayed me to my right.
Oof.
But I think I just made sure that I turned enough to the
it.
left so I didn't see it. And we rehearsed it. I was like, I'm not sure. They were asking me, like, is this okay? And I was like, I need to check.
Yeah.
Like in a rehearsal, and it was fine. But yeah, it's interesting how certain things can distract you. Or, I don't know if it distracted you, or you just like...
Oh, it's always distracting. Everything's distracting.
Everything on the face of the planet is distracting. Like these Instagram questions, where did they go? The next one is
here we are.
From Cheetah Piper.
Which
one should I ask first? Do you plan on writing your own sheet music to sell?
I am not selling anything that I've ever written. I don't think so. I've composed before. I've written stuff. I wrote some stuff for a couple of documentaries that my friend Parker Brown did when he was in school in Bozeman doing his graduate work. And I composed a bit of music when I was in high school, but no longer, because everything would sound exactly like the pieces I'm working on at the time. That's basically it.
That's interesting.
Yourself?
Well, I've been wanting to publish the arrangements of hymns that I've written over the years. I've been wanting to publish them for quite a few years, especially since all you guys keep asking me if you can purchase them, like in YouTube comments and stuff, and I feel really bad because I'm like, no, because I haven't published them yet.
What about the Pokemon arrangement that you did?
My gosh, I don't even think I wrote that down. I think I just like played it in my head.
Tried to transcribe it again. That was a really involved project.
I think there were like 28 parts that I wrote for that Pokemon. Sounded pretty cool. And then I was sad that almost nobody commented on that in the video.
Well, they didn't realize that it wasn't synthesized something. I don't know. I mean, I tried to say something supportive, but it's all going to come out insulting.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I think this sounds so cool. Everyone's going to be so excited that like I recorded a Pokemon theme song, and then nobody commented on it, and I was like,
bum, bum. Oh, no, sorry, that's E.T. Wrong theme.
Let's see. I do plan to publish them. My main issue is actually getting piano parts written and, someone to write them and then actually write them. So
get Jordan on the phone.
Yeah, maybe actually. I don't know. I mean, Alex has talked about doing them. I just don't know if he'll ever find the time. But he's interested in it, so we'll see. Because I feel like I can't really sell the parts without a piano accompaniment to go along with them. And all of the videos that I have of me playing them are with a pianist that's literally just improvising over the hymnal. So, and then the ones you see of me playing by myself are literally just me putting all the different verses together into one verse, and I just like play them at the same time. So yeah, hopefully one day, but I've been saying that for quite a few years. I feel really bad that I haven't done it.
One of 8,000 projects.
Yeah, basically. Next question. From the same person, Cheetah Piper?
Cheetah Piper.
How much time do you spend practicing with your pianist before performing the piece?
It's about... how much time, actually? How many rehearsals? Because sometimes we rehearse 3 times before concerts. Up to 3 times?
I felt like we rehearsed more for the first concert.
Yeah, we actually put that... I mean, there was some hard stuff on there, too. It was...
the Hinastera and the Suite Italian. And Sarasate.
But I don't think it was more than 4.
But they were long.
They were long pieces. I mean
they were long rehearsals.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Chloe's very easy to follow. And that makes things very easy on my part. All I need to do is play most of the notes, be with her, and then at the end of it say, okay, was there anything that bothered you? And then we go over 7 or 8 spots that bothered her.
And then I ask him to make 5 Instagram videos.
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
That's basically rehearsal.
That's what we do for the rest of our rehearsals.
Yeah.
I think pretty much every time we've done an Instagram video, almost all of them have been after a rehearsal.
Yeah. If not, then we try to knock 2 out in a night. I don't think we've never knocked out 2 in a night, did we?
I don't think so.
Fly to the Bumblebee.
I think we tried to that one time and didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Takes too long to edit. But I don't know. What we were saying was that we have made sure that our repertoire for all the recitals we've been playing includes not the same program, but a lot of the same major pieces. So we've played maybe 4 different programs that I'd really call like different.
Right.
Multiple times, but the 4 different programs all have like maybe 3 of the same pieces.
There's a little bit of old,
there's like
little
overlap.
New.
There's overlap from everything. So we always make sure that there's only ever around 3 new pieces on a program.
Right.
So when we get back to rehearsing, we don't have to spend a lot of time because it's just the 3 that we have to figure out.
It's a good policy for solo recitals too. Always.
What do we have to do for June?
Sonat
Beethoven, Sonat Sats.
Schumann, Claire Schumann. But that's not for June.
July.
Yeah.
But for June, Brahms.
Well, we'll rehearse it when we get around to it. We see on the list.
Or maybe we can rehearse next week. I just can't.
Yeah.
I just have to wait until this recording's over. Yeah. Okay, next question. From Maya.
Oh,
hey,
yes.
Maya.
You're going to have to move the camera for this one.
Wait to where?
To the bath. No, not to the bath. Well, let's ask you the question first, because everybody's anticipating.
How do you strengthen your fingers on your left hand? I have really loose joints on the ends of my fingers, and they always bend when I'm playing.
Okay. So, I'll tell you what every pianist does. Okay, so, can you see the ground?
Wait, why are we actually going to the ground?
We're going to the ground.
You're going to actually do this?
I'm going to actually do this. This is how...
Wait, but then I have to move, like...
Oh.
So many...
All of them? Okay. Oh. Is that...
What are you making me do?
Okay. Ready? This is what you do. You just place your hands on the ground like this. You straight fingers, right? And then you adopt a plank. And then you do a couple of push-ups. Oh, those are my elbows.
Oh, jeez.
But, so that's how you do it. And if your fingers don't dislocate, that means you've developed the strength to not have them come out of place. Isn't that what violinists do?
No.
Oh, what do you guys do then?
Well, we do a lot of different things. Do I have it set up the same way as before?
I don't know. It looks so stupid. Sorry, I had to do that.
You do finger push-ups.
That, and it's mostly, I don't know how...
But specifically for the left hand, what do? You have to...
No, you just kind of balance it with your right.
On, like...
Yeah, lean more on the left side. Or I don't know, I mean, because, violin, there's much more pressure that you apply to the string than pianists really do to the bottom of the key. In fact, we're trained to get to the bottom and just leave just enough pressure to keep the damper up. So ours is more alignment of the bones in our body so that we get to the thing as efficiently as possible. So strength just comes in balance for us. Balancing the weight of the arm on the finger. And, when I was injured, it was because I was putting too much weight on there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, for violinists, I've made a few videos on Instagram, I think one on YouTube, talking about strengthening exercises for the left hand. It is a multitude of different things that I don't necessarily want to like get into right now, but like rubber bands that I'm always talking about, different exercises that you can do on the strings that I talked about in I think the last live stream I did. And like I said, if you go to
YouTube.
# Chloe's violin lessons, you can find some on there where I talk about the different strengthening. Because I know what you're talking about when it's like too bendy in the last joint. That's usually for people who are very hypermobile. Like, I'm hypermobile in certain fingers, so my fingers want to collapse on especially the ring finger. But some people, like, all of their fingers swan neck.
Yeah.
And it's like a big problem. And that's really because the tendons they're too, I don't know what the word is, they're too loose. Which is like,
too long or something?
Kind of. It's mostly just like, I mean, it's a lot about like individual person's structure, like bone structure combined with muscles, combined with tendons. And then, just everyone's built differently. I tend to see in different ethnicities have more of a problem with this, which I don't fully understand, but and I'm not going to go into which ones, but like, because there are many. I don't know why I have it for me, like I don't know what it is, but basically, a lot of isometric exercises that I've talked about before, like just trying to hold a finger without letting something collapse, just like on a flat surface, actually is super helpful. So things like that, and I don't want to get into it too much, but there's a lot of things you can do. But I empathize because that's super annoying.
# Chloe's violin lessons.
Hey. Okay, next question.
Oh, this is great.
Iconic Spirit. Do you have a contract written between you two? I've always wondered about the legality of these things, if it even exists or is necessary.
I don't know, like, writing a contract before you actually, like, form a duo is kind of like signing a prenup or something without getting married. Like, it's weird. Like,
I mean, what would I don't even know what the contract would be. Would it be like for each individual concert, or like
Chloe gets into the first class seat and Jonathan has to sit in his luggage?
What? No. Or is it something like...
No more photos of Chloe while I'm sleeping. Chloe sleeping on the plane.
Oh, I was like, that sounds
Sorry.
weird.
I can't take pictures while I'm asleep.
He takes pictures of me while I'm sleeping on the plane.
No, it was great, because I just walked back and the person next to you had been gone, and I just see... It's a great picture.
You did not delete that. I hate you so much.
It's on the cloud. It's impossible to delete from the cloud.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
I mean, what would the contract say? Like, you're not allowed to play with any other pianist or something like that? Or would it say
weird.
we divide the profits of whatever?
60-40?
But I mean, the thing is, most of our contracts that we get for concerts have individual contracts for us anyways.
Right.
So, I mean, it would be more of like a...
Although sometimes they pay Chloe all of it, and then there's...
I had to...
Yeah.
Then I have to write to them and be like, oh, taxes.
Oh, I forgot about that angle. But I would imagine that a contract would be kind of verbal. I don't ever see Chloe really scamming me out of something yet.
Okay.
Till it happens.
I mean, I wonder kind of, and I don't know how much to go into all of this, if they're wondering about things like recordings and stuff, which we've talked about a little bit, but not.
We never really got into it. The deal was I did production on that recording so that I could help myself with production on future recordings. That was my experiment. So I did that one. That was fine. Now I see how many copies she sells, and I'm like, man, I should have done my contract. No. Sometimes things you do pay off in indirect ways. Like the number of concerts that Chloe has gotten that I've been a part of as a warm body sitting behind the keyboard, plinking on the keys, has definitely paid for itself. in that manner. Now, we could go into fine detail and just work everything out, and maybe we'll have to at some point whenever we don't like each other anymore, and we'll have to like get
I hate
lawyers
you.
involved.
Give me money.
No, it's just a nice little disdain for each other, not necessarily hate. But when but I don't see that happening in the near future, you know, and if. In the end, we're humans, right? And we should communicate.
Yeah, like, I guess if something was really bugging you, hopefully you'd just tell me.
Yeah. That's basically it.
Yeah.
It's nice earning money with your friends, but it's nicer to have friends that you earn money with. Does that make sense?
Wait,
Not to
I'm
me
not
either.
even sure. Next question.
Yes.
There's my
Well, I have tons of ums and likes already.
From R. Clinton, how do you stay motivated?
Fear.
That's true, actually.
Number
That's
one
a
is
very
fear.
good motivator, fear.
I think people underestimate how much fear is a good thing. In a way. Like, fear of messing up in your concert. Fear of not being rehired by something. Fear of, to put it very uncomfortably, what other people think. You know? It's a necessary part of performing to your utmost ability a lot. Now, if there are no consequences, then there's not
What
very
would be
much.
a situation where there's no consequences?
It's not much. Because there's always going to be one musician in the audience.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you play, there's always going to be that one musician.
I feel like I remember some concerts where I've played them being like, I didn't really advertise this, and like no one's gonna really come, and then you're like, oh, that one person is there.
It's like,
And you're
oh
like,
no, why, yeah.
But I mean, for us at least, our fears are usually over exaggerated. Like if we have any.
But we can't tell ourselves they're over exaggerated because they're real to us.
Yeah, they're real to us. But I mean, if we have any issues in a performance, it's not. I don't think any of the issues we've ever had have been like derailing, like ruining a concert, or like. Except for maybe that polka.
Oh well, that was a weird piece.
Sorry.
No, but it would.
And it was the encore.
Yeah.
So bad. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah. It happens, but in the end, it's not the end of the world. But we still want to avoid emergency
disasters.
Yeah, emergency situations. We won't call them disasters. Emergency situations. There's a weird dichotomy being a musician, I guess, where you have to accept the fact that things will not go as planned, but you have to have that fear of things going not as planned to motivate yourself to strive to do better. And there's also a sort of I'm not just trying to say it so that we make it through a gig. I'm saying fear will try to launch you. Like, the biggest fear that I have sometimes, or most of the time, is I'm not living up to my potential.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you take breaks and stuff like that, you want to come back to the instrument and say, I'm going to be better than I was, or I'm going to do this better than I was. I'm going to refine some aspect of myself. And that's the motivation right there. So that's two things. Fear, and it's the looking up at the mountaintop, which you'll never get to.
Fear and aspiration.
Fear and aspiration. Those are two sides of the same coin that keeps you motivated. I hope that helps.
Just get your instrument out. I guess that's harder for pianists because it's just there. It's always the same.
I tell my students, and I have to tell myself, the hardest part about practicing the piano is sitting down.
Yeah.
Hardest part about practicing metronome, turning that thing on.
Mm-hmm.
The metronome. Yeah.
It's kind of the same way for me. Like, sometimes the hardest part of writing an email, and I know this is different, but like, I'm just saying for in general, the hardest part for writing an email is just to like go to my email and click new email.
Right.
Or reply or whatever. I mean, that's typically the hardest part. It's the same with practicing.
Get it started.
No, like what I always like to try to tell people is sometimes I think students aren't motivated enough because they don't have anything they're working towards. So, if you're in a situation where either you don't have a teacher or you are working with a teacher and you don't have any student recitals coming up or you don't have anything performance or jury-wise coming up, then you need to create your own.
Do your own live stream. Was enough to...
You killed that mosquito in that one.
I did kill the mosquito in the middle of the performance.
That was awesome.
That's going to be my crowning achievement, I think. I'm first line of my bio. Some people put virtuoso on their bio, and everybody thinks, "Ooh, they're good." I say, I killed a mosquito
in the middle, like without missing a beat. I think you kept going.
Kept going because it was a one-hand thing.
Yeah, but you can create your own concerts for family and friends, or even your stuffed animals, or various things. I mean, I feel like I always give this as a response to different things. People talk about how to get over stage fright. People talk about how to be motivated. Honestly, just performing, just freaking doing it. Which Maya in the bath and everyone else will laugh at me because my slogan is always like, Nike, just do it. Just do better. Just do it. You need
That's the guy in Transformers now, right? The old Transformers guy.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. Or even Gary Vee in the thing that I showed you today. It was just just do it. Yeah. I mean, which Nike is getting so much
Yeah. They got so much mileage out of it.
Yeah. But it really is the truth. I mean, what's holding us back most of the time is just our own fear that we can't or won't or shouldn't or something.
Or if we fall on our face, that's a one-way trip.
What?
People are afraid that they'll have a disastrous performance and that's finito, it's done. I can't perform anymore. No. You fall on your face, you get back up, and you do better next time.
Yeah. And honestly, if you learn how to perform with confidence, even if you have mistakes, if you seem confident while doing them, people won't really notice as much.
If you fart in a crowded elevator and you just don't turn red, everybody will look around. Nobody will know it's you. Not that I've done that ever.
This is why I have him here. For things like that.
I am the black ink on her pure canvas.
All right, next question. From also R. Clinton. When did you decide you wanted to be a professional musician?
I was a little bit later than most. I was about 16 years old. Discovered chamber music. That was a really big thing. Playing with other people, being collaborative pianist. Being on stage, but not being the thing on stage. But I was also...
You're going to make me feel like a monster. The thing on stage.
The attraction on stage. What am I supposed...
it's just funny. The thing.
But I was also into composition, and I thought I might want to conduct. That was when I decided to be a professional, but I only decided the piano after a couple of years into college where I was convinced to exercise my musical ideas through the piano, and then I was like, oh, actually, I have a lot to learn. I don't have the ego to be a conductor, and I don't have the motivation, speaking of motivation, to compose anything because everything I composed was so far below any of the other stuff that I was doing or learning, you know? And so if I could be a creator or a recreator in terms of performing music, I'd rather be a recreator because all that great stuff has already been written. Okay, you? There's three.
I answered this question quite a lot. They probably already know. But yeah, I was saying in my last live stream, I've known pretty much my whole life. I don't know. I don't remember a deciding point.
That must be amazing. I did not know.
I don't know. I mean, ever since I was, that I can remember thought.
Right.
It was just I'm going to be a violinist. It wasn't even a question.
Would it be
It wasn't even a question of, am I going to be able to? It was just this is what I'm doing. Which I think is... I keep interrupting you. But sorry. I tell people all the time, I think that's been part of my success is that I just knew it and never questioned it. Mm. And so when people are always questioning, will I be able to? Can I do this? And I'm just you just have to decide and not question it anymore.
Is it going to be... Okay. Try not to laugh. At one point, I thought maybe I would be a professional musician as a violinist. Oh!
I'm laughing because of how you're wording it. You're did you know that I once wanted to play?
But then I had friends that played.
I know that you played violin. I'm not.
But I thought I was pretty good for a while, and then I realized I wasn't. So I did piano instead because I was better.
I don't think it was that you weren't good. You were just better at piano and wanted to put more effort into that.
Yeah, one of my high school friends was Sterling. Yeah. So I heard him doing everything, and I was like, I can't do that. So I will do this other thing, which maybe I'll be able to do as good as that. That base has already been covered in this generation. And so, Celeste is in the same. I mean, they're same age.
But
almost.
so, what do you think that? I'm trying to say if I want to open this can of worms. What does that say about us comparing ourselves to other people?
You don't want it to be the be all and end all, but a little bit of it is natural and healthy. Mm-hmm. I think. I mean, you can't. There's always going to be somebody that plays something particular thing, does whatever.
Let me put it a different way. What if you knew you wanted to do music, but you only played violin and did not play piano? And still saw people like Celeste and Sterling.
I kind of do the thing with piano, because I have a lot of friends who are doing really, really, really amazing things, and I will find different avenues to express my artistic self that are not necessarily with the instrument in the venues, in the format that they are doing it. I think that you have a certain amount of points, like little experience points here and there, right? Whatever they have into performance and that sort of thing, I can put into production. I can put into instruction. I can be a great teacher. It's just trying to make yourself as useful to not just your own career and community, it's to musical society as a whole.
So are you saying you wouldn't have continued with violin? Was basically.
Or I would have continued violin, but I would have put more points into maybe I can be a really good pedagogue. Or maybe I would have put enough points into it where I felt that I could say what I wanted to say enough.
Because I think there are a lot of kids today that, are playing an instrument and they look up to someone else who is so much better than them and who might even be the same age as them or just a little bit older or
younger. Or younger.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
And they just feel like, well, I shouldn't even try. Like, I should just give up, because I'm not as good as these people. And I really, that's my whole issue with, like, comparison is, like, just because you don't play the same or, in your opinion, as good as someone else doesn't mean that you shouldn't play.
Or that it'll always be that way.
True. Because life circumstances and different situations like those always change. I worry when I see kids doing that, looking at people and being like, I shouldn't even bother trying, or I should just quit, or I'm never going to be as good as that, so I don't,
Well, if you have a really deep down conviction about having something to say, go and pursue that. But understand that at that moment, there might be people who are accomplishing things. Now, if that's enough to deter you from that, is it the attention that you want, or is it something else? I mean, I don't want to say that everybody does everything for attention that way, necessarily, but, if you're really into the art and you're really focusing on the art, the idea of yourself, this is getting really deep, but the idea of yourself goes away.
Yeah.
If you're really focused on creating something, not original and just really for yourself. Right, exactly. Basically. So then you lose yourself. Vanity is comparing yourself, which you do need to put yourself in touch with what the circumstances are at the time once in a while. But it's...
And I hope that you would just more be inspired by those people than feeling beaten down or, like you'll never be able to live up to them. A great tip that my teacher in my master's, in my graduate degree, told me was if you find someone else who has something in their playing that you recognize as great that you wish you had, just go and ask them how they do that thing.
Yeah. Which
was interesting because I'd never... Like, that concept actually hadn't really occurred to me before. Because I feel like, as musicians, we're all kind of, like, private about ourselves and, like, want to keep everything to ourselves.
Or if they keep it to themselves, you try to figure out what it was.
Yeah. But honestly, most of us, I think, are open to discussing those things. Most people would be flattered.
Or they don't even know that that's one thing they don't that people admire.
Yeah.
People want to be complimented.
I think, and I think it's great to, you know, like you said, whether you're phrasing it as a compliment or whatever, it will come off that way. It's great to build that community with other musicians, like acknowledge great things in other people's playing to their face, because I feel like a lot of, especially teenagers, you know, don't want to do that. I mean, I'm guilty of that also. I mean, you know, you get either like the jealousy aspect or the like I'm better than you aspect or whatever. I mean, like we've all been in those dark, scary places.
Afraid of complimenting somebody the wrong way. Wow, I heard every beat. It was really structured. Like, yeah, I was really working on trying to be free.
Oh,
you know, that's that type of thing too.
Well, I find that I kind of do a similar thing. You know, that like foot in your mouth, where you are trying to give a compliment and then you realize while you're saying it that this doesn't sound like a compliment anymore. Yeah. It's awful. I think I just did that a couple of days ago, actually, and I was like, wait, back up.
So, yeah, I mean, go ahead and say it. I think most people would appreciate it or would be able to take it for the compliment.
Well,
in the spirit
if they're not super defensive or super like egotistical, they're gonna recognize it for what it is, regardless of how it comes off.
By the way, people are like that in the world, and if that's the case,
egotistical?
Then yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and if it's that way, then you know what you said, and you meant it as a compliment, and cheers and farewell.
But that's one of the things I'm always trying to encourage, like on my Instagram channel and stuff, is that we stop keeping all of our compliments to ourselves. Like, for some reason, we all want to go around and, like, spew negative stuff about people that we, whatever, don't like their playing for whatever reason, jealousy or whatever it is.
Right.
But we also don't like to go around and say the compliments to other people. Probably mostly because of...
It's not cool. You know, I think one of the biggest points I've heard was, if you say somebody they didn't play it Mozart like it's supposed to be played, that assumes that the person saying that quote knows how Mozart's played. So instead of going and saying, I really loved how you played that piece, you point out what you don't like about it so that it makes you seem like you do know what's there. So you hold the key. All of a sudden you hold the power. And, you know, I do believe in stylistic performances and that sort of thing. But I don't believe in there being one way.
Right.
So
I mean, we believe in stylistic performances, but we also acknowledge that you can do stuff completely out of the box and it can still be acceptable. I mean, even some pretty ridiculous things. If it's effective, if it's communicated effectively, and if it's done well, I'm not going to be like, I was just... be like, wow, that was pretty cool. Like
I would never imitate that.
I don't know if I want to play it that way, but I'm almost like, I almost want to because it was that cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or that great, or whatever. I mean, what's important is that the effort and the communication that goes into a performance, not necessarily just like correct. I'm so tired of people being like, stop playing Bach with vibrato.
Wait, that brings us to that question. We should probably...
Is it to the next one?
That's not to the next question. It's a question, though, that would probably be really good.
Oh, the rival school one?
Yes. I love this question. I like the guy's name, too.
Wait, this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny sends in...
From Johnny. I don't know what's in my throat. I went to the concert at... Thanks for the clarification. I did not know that.
Tonsils.
Did you go to medical school?
No, but I am a doctor.
I went to the concert at our rival school tonight, and the orchestra played a Bach tune, and the director had the group use Baroque grip on their bows for the piece. What are your thoughts?
Last time we tried something like that in rehearsal, we ended up playing with 2 sticks and rocks. So, just be careful.
I think that was my favorite thing we have ever filmed, was you, like, hitting rocks together on the floor.
The rocks are breaking up.
The rocks were, like, chipping and, like, flying all over the place.
I had to vacuum those rocks off of my floor.
Where did you find those rocks?
Across the street. Because they were paving, like, the...
And then I'm here, like, trying to clip, like, branches off of trees to get... Or, like, find dead ones on the ground, and that wasn't working.
If you haven't seen that video, go watch Chloe's video of...
How do they find it? It's probably easiest on my Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, Facebook.
If you look for that and look for...
Or just scroll down until you see people arguing. I'm
in a reddish-orange shirt.
Hey, you remember your shirt color that day.
I remember what shirt I wear in my videos, but this is like a few months ago.
Okay.
That was like 6 years ago.
All right. I'm not creepy.
Anyways. Our thoughts on this. I'm assuming that he's meaning by Baroque grip that they were holding, instead of here, that they were holding their bows more up here-ish. A little bit, because I think that's the only thing you could really do that, and maybe bringing the elbow down a little bit. To play like Baroque style without a Baroque bow.
Did they just tighten it so hard that the camera just went out?
I hope not. But I think I'm assuming that the reason that they did that was because when you do hold your bow higher up like that, you're able to do phrasings much differently in a way that you can't, because the balance of the bow is completely changed. So you're able to make things smoother that are usually more difficult to play, like chords, or it's easier to do some détaché bowings. It's very different feeling. So I'm assuming that's why he had them do that, or maybe he was just really egotistical and wanted to be like, this is how you're supposed to do it.
The final answer is, how did it sound?
Yeah.
So we weren't there. It's an interesting way to get a great effect, but it'll be effective when it makes the effect. So I'm not saying either way. It's like pianists with gesticulations. You know, this sort of thing? Like, draw the sound of the piano, that sort of thing. And it works for some people because it affects their approach to the keys, but some people put down and they make this, like, real crass sound, and then afterwards they do that. So it doesn't actually affect the sound. So it's all in the way any technique is employed. Does it sound good?
Yeah, I mean, basically. I would also maybe question his reasoning for doing that, because I'm slightly...
Does it seem like people are fooling themselves when they
kind of. I'm slightly inclined to think that, unless he was just really using it as a teaching.
But yeah, I was going to say, in high school, though, that's a great opportunity to open their... You know, maybe you have a... what was that? Period performance specialist in that group after that. Like, oh, this changed everything. Which, in that case, it's a great teaching mechanism.
I mean, I generally tell students to do that anyways. If they don't have a Baroque bow, I tell them to try it there. Like, not to play it like that for real, but to try it and then try to emulate the sound. So that's what I do, is I have them try to copy the sound that creates with the correct bow hold for a modern bow. The Instagram live stream is ending, so I'm going to restart it.
Oh, sweet.
And finish with our questions here.
Okay.
And I apologize to people that I'm not getting to questions on Instagram. Do you want to open Instagram on your phone?
Yeah, I will. What am I opening it for?
Comments, because I haven't been able to see. I can't read sideways.
I will.
Okay, so I'm ending this one and restarting another.